this video I'll talk you through making tortellini. So the filling that I've got here is spinach and ricotta, so it's approximately equal quantities by volume. Spinach that's been wilted down and then squeezed really hard to get as much of the liquid out of it as possible, and then adding in equal parts ricotta cheese, and then just a little bit of salt for seasoning and cracked black pepper. So that's the filling that we're going to be using. As well, here I've got a little glass that's just got some water in that'll help us to stick the pasta together, and I've got my plate that I'm going to put the finished tortellini on, and some extra flour for dusting. So what we'll do is we'll start off by just taking our pasta and we'll cut it into roughly equal size squares. It doesn't matter if they're not exactly the same size, so we're aiming for them to be the same size so that when they cook, they all cook at the same time. Like I say, it's rough and ready, it's rustic, they're homemade, so it doesn't matter too much if they're not exactly the same size. You can see that the way that I've rolled this pasta, this bit's kind of a bit thinner than this bit here in terms of its width, but that's absolutely fine. So we cut the pasta into our squares, and what we'll do is with this spare pasta that we've got left, we'll take this and we'll just put it to one side, and we'll just cover it with a cloth just to stop it from going dry. So we'll keep that up there. Now with these squares, if we just arrange them so they're a bit more uniform on the bench, and I've ended up cutting an odd number. Oh no, I've not. I just can't arrange them properly. So with the filling, what we want is around about a teaspoon of filling on each one, and you want it roughly in the centre, maybe just towards one side where the corner is. And with the ones which are a bit smaller, you'll need to use just a little bit less filling. So we'll go along, putting filling on all of the sheets. And the temptation with a full pasta like this is really to put too much filling into the pasta. Often makes it harder to actually fold the pasta if you have too much filling. Oops. Just another little dab there. And then what we do is we get the water, and just with a clean finger, just run some water along the edge of the pasta. And what we do is we take, if I can move it this way, we take it and we fold it into a triangle shape, so that's corner to corner. And we want to squeeze out as much of that air as possible, going around. And then again, just taking a little bit of water on the underside here, we'll just wet it here and here, and we take it around our thumb, pull it across, give it a bit of a pinch, and with any luck, there's the first of our tortellini. So what we'll actually do, I'll just dry my fingers, and just get a bit of flour. We'll just flour this plate first, just so that they don't stick too much. So again, wet the finger, go around two sides of the triangle, pull the triangle over, the rectangle over to form the triangle, squeeze it together, and then bring it round and squeeze the two ends together. Just a little bit of water just to help that stick. And you want to try and make sure that you get as much of the air out as you're squeezing it together at that point. So getting the air out will help prevent the tortellini from splitting when you come to cook them. If you have air in the pasta, then that air will expand as it's cooking, and that's where you'll then get it splitting. So we'll quickly run through the rest of these. And then our final one, it's just stuck to the bench a little bit. Our final one, still got a slightly damp finger, so there's enough there to stick it together. Now we just bring the plate forward and just arrange them a bit nicely. So there we've got our spinach and ricotta tortellini. Now the best way to handle these now, you want to make sure that they're not touching each other whilst they're on the plate, otherwise they'll start to stick together. And you can leave these for 10 minutes or so for the pasta to dry out slightly before cooking them. Alternatively, what you can do, you can freeze these. They're really good for freezing. You just need to put them into the freezer on a flat tray or a plate like this. After 30 minutes or 45 minutes, once they're frozen, transfer them into a food safe container or a bag and put them back into the freezer, and they'll keep for a couple of months. So if you need that midweek meal, that quick meal in the evening, then you've got that frozen pasta and it's there ready to cook.